Welcome back to Where You Live. We're here at St. Joseph's Hospital in Comox with Robert Cooper. Now, Robert, you grew up in Toronto.
Yes.
At what age did you sit down and go, wow, that's what I want to do?
I was 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Well, actually, probably before that, I used to write these silly comic books for my little sister. She was 4 years younger than me, and I used to sort of write her bedtime stories.
Cool.
But at 7, my dad made the really poor decision to take me to see Jaws when it first came out in the theater. And I'm sure other people have had this, reaction, but yeah, I don't think I slept for about 2 years. And it kept, as I lay awake in terror, I thought I want to control that power that was,
right.
basically keeping me up
Awesome.
at night. Yeah.
So at 7, you realized that. So then did you start to...
I always loved the movies. I mean,
Right.
I just loved going to the movies, and I wanted to sort of be a part of that magic.
So when you maneuvered through high school, was that always kind of in one part of your brain that was where I was headed?
Yeah, I did creative writing in high school. I was part of a sort of an autonomous learning program that also,
Great.
allowed you to kind of explore your own interests, and I did writing there. I actually went to a summer camp
Awesome.
and approached the director of the camp and said, this is my interest and I'd love to do this. And we bought a bunch of equipment and we started doing movie making as an activity at the camp.
Awesome.
So I would work with the kids and write scripts and they would make their own little movies, and we had fun that way. So right from the very beginning, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I think it was like, difficult in some ways because some people don't know what they want to do. I knew what I wanted to do, but it's kind of a hard business to break into.
It is. So what was that path for you? Did you do post-secondary?
Yeah, I went to film school at York University in Toronto and took an undergraduate degree that I knew I could, maybe go to law school if I had to. And then actually applied and got into Osgood and said, I'll take a year off and just see if I can make this thing work. And I wrote a bunch of screenplays and sent them around and ended up getting a job off of that, and
Great.
one thing sort of led to
As
another.
a writer, or did they actually pick up one of your screenplays?
Yeah, no, they didn't buy any of the ones I had written, but they started paying me to write them. Not very much. It was probably less than minimum wage.
Okay. When did you make the move from Canada down to the States?
I didn't actually move. I've lived here my whole life.
Oh, have you? Great.
Yeah, I started in Toronto, did some work there, and then flew myself out to Vancouver to meet with the guys who were starting up a show called Stargate.
Ah, yes.
And
it's one of my favorites, actually.
and then got well, thank you. Got a job on that show and sort of worked my way up. And you don't get into the business to do one show for most of your life, but that just kept going, and we ended up doing 14 years, 17 seasons of television.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's fabulous. Now, this project has brought you to Comox.
Yes.
What has the experience been like here in the wee town of Comox?
It's been great. It's such a beautiful, peaceful place. My sister actually lives on the island down in just north of Victoria, so my family and I come over here quite a bit.
Awesome.
We actually picked up our puppy in Nanaimo about 3 months ago, so we're familiar with the island and the neighborhood. We started talking to Joan and the Film Commission back in the fall. We knew this was an opportunity to come to St. Joseph's and shoot. The logistics were a bit of an issue for us, and then just sort of figuring out how we were going to make that work within our budget and schedule. And you do get some additional tax credits for coming over here, which is always helpful. But it is still a bit of a big deal. If you go outside and look at all the trucks out there, you can see it's not a. It's quite a beast that you have to.
And you walked into a pre-decorated set.
Well, that's the thing we just couldn't resist. We came over here to scout a couple times, and you just can't get that. You can't shoot in real hospitals, obviously, at least not for very long or in very much space.
Right.
And this provided us so many different looks that spoke to the period we're shooting in.
Yes.
And then you go up to the second floor and it's a different space, and then you go up to the third floor and it's a totally different hospital again. So all of that was incredibly appealing. And then you guys just have some great little restaurants and nice places to stay. And you know, we were last week, we're in Vancouver shooting in Maple Ridge and driving an hour and 10 minutes to and from, and here we're 5 minutes away from the hotel. So there's well, and you know, filming, it's not brain surgery, but you know, it does get kind of intense at times, and it's a pretty stressful job. And it honestly feels like this place has kind of brought a little bit of a peace and calm over the crew and everyone. So it's been,
because you can walk out the door and you're looking at one of the most beautiful scenes probably on the planet.
And it's also nice to kind of get everybody on the show together.
Yes.
It is an intense show emotionally, and the experience of sort of all going on a road trip together kind of bonds everyone.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and all the best with the show.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
You've been watching Where You Live. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. We'll be back.